Hi, it's Louise at Spiral Bright Insight. I am a galactic and an intuitive astrologer, and what I want to bring to you today is just a real heads up and my perspective on some of the astrology that we are about to experience. I'm recording this on the 5th of December, sort of the big event days, well, for this kind of half an hour are on the 6th and the 7th of December, and I'll explain what's going on and how I feel those energies are likely to manifest for us. But just before I go on, I just want to acknowledge that sort of from speaking to, various people around me and from also checking in with my own energy and how I've been feeling over the last day or so, I just want to sort of share that it feels like, we have stepped up a gear in intensity levels. Now, a lot of us thought that that possibly wasn't possible given how intense things have been all year, but it does feel that, there is a lot coming at us. Now, I haven't actually checked in, but I've seen posts saying that the Schumann resonance has been going crazy. I don't know if we've had any more solar flares. In this period, but there's a lot of anxiety coming up in people, a lot of sadness, frustration, almost like a kind of sense of just almost having had enough, almost at the point where you just want to throw in the towel because it just feels too hard. And no matter how much work and how much effort we are putting in, it feels like we are not getting anywhere. I've also heard somebody saying that, they'd felt really angry, really feisty, really sort of full of fire, and particularly yesterday. And yeah, I mean, it's just an acknowledgement that actually, there is so much going on, and we're in these huge times of, where there are huge shifts going on. So if you are feeling it and it is affecting your nervous system or your emotional state or your mental state, then, no, you are not alone. And I think everybody obviously is experiencing things in their own unique way, but it is intense for pretty much all of us. So I wanted to start with that. But yeah, 6th of December is a pretty intense day for a number of reasons. Now, Mars is going to station retrograde at 6 degrees of Leo. Now, Mars only goes retrograde every 2 years. So this is not necessarily an event that is kind of comes naturally to us. Like, we're used to Mercury going retrograde on a fairly regular basis, but Mars less so. So, it's something, because Mars is a personal planet, we are going to feel this really at a very personal level, depending on where Leo, 6 degrees of Leo and Cancer fall in your chart. So if you want to check that out and see which house area is likely to be affecting, and if you've got any other planets or points or angles or dwarf planets, asteroids, etc. in those areas. Now, this is between 6 degrees of Leo and it will go back to 17 degrees of Cancer. So this is quite, a wide part. Mars is going to be retrograde until the 24th of February next year. So we've certainly got, a couple months, 2.5 months there, give or take, to really work with this energy. And Mars is the planet of action. It's really sort of our focus, our drive, our life force, our energy, our determination, our passion. So when Mars, and any other planet really, is in retrograde motion, it requires us to come within, to experience those energies at a very internal level, to really review and realign and reassess and reconsider exactly how we are working with, the expression of that planetary energy. So Mars in Leo, Leo is obviously, the sun's ruling sign. So instantly, we have this really strong sense of power, of light, of life force, of energy. Leo is very much about creativity. Leo wants to be seen, wants to be admired, wants to have an audience, wants to express himself, herself, very freely. There can be a lot of courage that comes through with Leo as well. Leo, the lion, the roar, the freedom of voice and, expressing exactly who you are without worrying about what other people sort of see or think. Mars is obviously as well the god of war. So, there can be anger when Mars is activated in the chart, depending on the aspects. And there can be conflict and aggression. But, this is a time with Mars in retrograde motion to really sort of look at how to maybe channel or express any feelings of aggression or anger or conflict in a much more harmonious way, a much more responsible way, because everything will be coming at us from an internal perspective. So what exactly is this going to mean? Well, I'm just going to talk about Mars retrograde in Leo. I expect I will come on and talk about Mars retrograde in Cancer when we get to that point, which will be in January, I think. But, this is a real time to, if we have got any sort of issues around conflict, any battles, that perhaps haven't been completely resolved at some point in the past, then these are likely to come up to be reviewed and to be really healed and worked on in a very sort of positive way. Now, this can be conflict and battles with the self because, often we're not even aware that we're fighting ourselves or in conflict with ourselves. So as Mars is in retrograde motion, it's going to become really clear if that is the case, and we'll be given the tools and the guidance and the help to be able to work through that. And the help is going to come from within. So, don't start thinking, oh, well, who's going to help me? Obviously, there might be guidance from outside, but actually the change and the work and the healing and the review has to start from within, and you're going to be able to see without any sort of shadow of a doubt where you need to do the work. Now, Mars is also about goals and action, and so we may be we may be called to review our goals and to make sure that if we're setting goals and we're working towards something, that it is still in alignment with our true self, with our authentic self, and also with what lights us up, with our true passion. Is there alignment? Are we still on the right track? And if not, what needs to change in order to bring us back into alignment? It's certainly going to be a time to slow down and really not force anything. We feel like we don't have as much energy, or that we don't have as much drive, and we don't have as much motivation. So, it's going to feel like possibly harder work to get things off the ground. That's not to say it's not a good time to start something new, because obviously we know we're going into a new year while Mars is still in retrograde, but it just makes sure that whatever we are sort of bringing in and wanting to focus on and wanting to kind of create and bring into being is fully aligned with our passions and is fully aligned with something that is going to really light us up and ignite, that inner flame, that inner life force energy. So, this is about realigning our goals, realigning our energy. If there are any situations, people, places, anything where you have been giving your energy away or people have been draining your life force, this is the time to really review it. And perhaps it's something that you weren't consciously aware of. So again, this is going to be a beautiful opportunity. It may be challenging because we don't always want to think that, we've given our power away, or that people have been taking advantage of us, or even draining our life force energy. But it's going to become really apparent where that is happening, so that you can take steps to change it and shift it and bring that back into realignment. Because it's not a bad thing to want to help people and to, want to serve and to, be useful and support others, but when it becomes out of balance for too long, for an extended period, and you end up giving too much of yourself and you're not getting anything back, and you're actually never sort of getting that replenishment that you need, that is when things need to change. So this is a great time to review all of that. I also sort of felt that because this is Leo energy, and this is the sign that wants praise, wants applause, with the retrograde motion, we are going to be seeking that from within, from ourselves, rather than sort of waiting for other people to tell us that we're brilliant and to admire us and to give us praise. This is the time where we can start to do that for ourselves and actually start to see our own value and our own worth and our own light. Because if you're not able to recognize that within yourself and see your own light and connect with your own light, it's really hard for other people, really hard to expect other people to be able to recognize that within you. So again, this is really beautiful opportunity to really explore, to go within and to connect with that. Realigning with the authentic self, with who you want to be, with who you are truly, reevaluating your goals and your strategy, but also making sure that you really take time to look after yourself as well. So slow down. If you feel tired, if your energy levels are low, make sure you honor that and stop pushing constantly, because there is a danger with Mars in Leo, certainly in forward direct motion, of getting burnt out, of being too much, of letting the fire burn too brightly, so that ultimately your energy levels will be depleted and ultimately will run out. The battery will not be charged, and you just won't be able to do anything. So this is a really beautiful time to kind of make sure that you are able to recharge, to recalibrate, to realign. When these planets sort of change direction, it can kind of leave us a little bit out at sea. We don't really know, are we coming or we're going, how are we really feeling? And with all these kind of emotions being brought up, it can feel overwhelming. Now, I am going to mention that, so that happens on the 6th. On the 7th of December, Neptune, which has been retrograde for a number of months now, is going to station direct at 27 degrees of Pisces. So again, this is an outer planet, but we really feel it. So when the outer planets sort of come to a halt, change direction, we really feel that energy. And Neptune, is the planet of dreams, of vision, of imagination, of creativity, of compassion, but there can also be confusion and illusion, especially with the Pisces signature. So yes, we're definitely going to be feeling, as Neptune sort of stations direct and starts to pick up a bit more speed and move forward again, we're going to have this momentum. We're going to feel more spiritual. We're going to feel more compassionate, possibly more creative, but there also should be some more clarity in terms of our beliefs, our spiritual self. And, we may be feeling even more psychic and more intuitive as Neptune sort of starts to move towards the end of Pisces. The last 3 degrees now, the last 2 degrees now lies ahead. So, it's a big deal. We're absolutely going to feel the impact of Neptune. But again, we are in this kind of limbo where Mars is changing direction, Neptune's changing direction, and it's kind of quite hard to really kind of know if you're coming or going, because, these are big shifts. So the other big news on the 6th of December, so moving back a day again to Friday, is the fact that the Sun and Mercury retrograde are going to meet up in a Cazimi. So this is when the Sun and Mercury meet together at exactly the same degree. In this case, it's at 14 degrees of Sagittarius. Mercury is retrograde, so has moved back. So, again, this is a really strong event for the month of December. And it is whenever a planet aligns with or partners with the Sun, it gets a real boost of solar energy, of light, of power. It's like a spotlight is being shone on that planet and its signature. And Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, this is about connecting with our inner wisdom, with our inner consciousness, with our inner belief system. Mercury retrograde is really asking us to review it, to perhaps see things that we didn't see before, to understand things in a new way from a higher perspective. And the Sun sort of coming forward to meet Mercury on the way back, it's like, a real check-in and just making sure that we really can see what it is that we are meant to see. Now, what is even more potent about this Cazimi at this time is that 14 degrees of Sagittarius is the degree point for the Great Attractor. Now, the Great Attractor is one of the 4 supracosmic points that we use in galactic astrology. And this, is a really strong magnetic force. It is described as a galactic or cosmic anomaly. sort of astronomers don't necessarily believe it acts as a black hole, but it has a really powerful magnetic force. So when we're working with the Great Attractor, there is this possibility to really bend light, to see sort of things that perhaps weren't visible, weren't obvious before. There can also be really sudden shifts because this is really sort of quantum cosmic energy. Things can happen, literally in a split second, and we can have changes of gear, changes of timelines, changes of dimensions are all possible. So this is a really interesting kind of triple conjunction. We can experience quantum leaps, that is not beyond the realms of possibility, but it also links back to the frequency of truth, to psychic abilities, to foresight, to being able to see the truth, because the Great Attractor literally will strip away or vacuum away anything that isn't aligned in truth, that isn't purely authentic. It's also transmitting these really high frequencies and light codes and cosmic wisdom that, if you are awake enough, or if your frequency is at a level that can match that or that is in tune with it, then you will be able to hear it and receive it. And it just feels that because we've got the support of the sun here hitting Mercury on the Great Attractor, this is an opportunity for people to really start to connect with their inner wisdom and their inner consciousness, which is, at this point in time becoming much more galactic. So it's definitely a day when, we're going to feel a stretching of our consciousness and expanding of our consciousness, and stepping into a much more multi-dimensional sort of state of being, state of understanding, state of awareness, and belief system ultimately. So this is really, really powerful to be working with as we move into the 7th of December, with have a bigger flow, sort of a deeper flow of creativity and compassion coming through Neptune, as Neptune stations. We're feeling more intuitive, we're feeling more spiritual. We have this amazing triple conjunction with Ceres, Venus, and Pluto, all at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So Ceres and Venus are moving together. They're going to join at 29 degrees of Capricorn on the 6th, and then on the 7th, they both move into Aquarius at roughly the same time. So they're all going to be at the 0 degree point alongside Pluto in this sort of beginning, this first degree of Aquarius. Now, Ceres is the goddess of fertility. She's very linked to the harvest, to nature, to abundance, to fertility and creativity, and to themes of rebirth and regeneration, but very much from a more physical, earthly, grounded perspective. So she helps us really sort of come into a much stronger awareness of our physical reality, of the strength of our physical vessel, of how important sort of our connection to nature is and needs to continue to be, because even though we are evolving and our consciousness is increasing, we cannot lose contact with and connection with the earth, because it is the earth that is holding us here and helping us to sort of exist in a physical expression. So, Ceres really kind of gives us hope, but she also connects us to the cycles of life, to the fact that, things have to die to be reborn, and, and so the cycle continues. She's very strongly linked to Gaia, so Mother Earth energy, to the mother frequency, to the Great Mother, to nurturing, to nourishing. And as she journeys along with Venus, Venus is moving much faster than her. So we only have these 2 days when they are sitting together. But the fact of them both moving into Aquarius together feels really, really powerful. Venus obviously is all about love, beauty, also self-worth and value and gifts and talent. So it's really helping us to connect with the importance of Earth as our great mother, as the protector, the nurturer, how we need to really sort of, honor and devote ourselves to what Earth can give us and how much she sustains us and supports us. How, important it is that we look after our bodies and as our physical vessels for the divinity that is the soul. And it's also going to really encourage us to find the beauty in nature and in the physical expression. That as these two, dwarf planet and planet, move into Aquarius, it feels to me, this is almost like a reset, but it is a quantum reset. It is almost like a quantum rebirth. It is very much inviting us to explore how we can use sort of the more futuristic, perhaps scientific, technological aspects and expressions and signatures of Aquarius, which is very quirky, very eccentric, but also very forward thinking and futuristic, how we can take those and combine them with the more earthly, creative sort of goddess of fertility, goddess of beauty, and bring them together. Because, there is no doubt that we are growing, we are expanding, we are developing, we are evolving, but this beautiful triple conjunction to me speaks of the need to really value the role that Earth plays in that, and the role of our physical expression and our physical experience, and how, we are absolutely going to have to find ways to use technology, but we need to always make sure that we are combining that and blending that in with the Earth and the more grounded reality and expression of existence. So I hope that makes sense. It feels like a reset. It feels like a real sort of message of hope and an energy of hope. Definitely an opportunity to kind of bring in some more creativity and to really sort of work with our self-worth, but also be mindful that we are constantly moving forward. We're constantly evolving and and changing really rapidly, but it is important to remain grounded and fully in the body as this happens, so that we don't sort of, lose that connection and almost get short-circuited, because I think that is a very likely possibility if things sort of move and evolve as rapidly as, they have the potential to. So, but we also have Pluto there at that 0 degrees of Aquarius, again, making sure that, we are evolving, that we are bringing something new into being. But as I said, although it is very much for the greater good of humanity and the collective, and absolutely it has to be because that is the Aquarian signature, it's also, like I said, making sure that we really see the value and the grounded wisdom in Earth and nature, the self-care, the nurturing, and that mother frequency, that great mother archetype, because we cannot lose connection with that, because, we all need that mother archetype to hold us. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in booking a reading with me, you can find out about the readings that I offer and the energy work that I offer via my website, spiralbright.co.uk. If you are interested in, for example, exploring how the Great Attractor is showing up in your chart, I do sort of smaller, deep dive readings as well, where we can hone in on one aspect or one star connection and really explore that and look at how it is sort of working for you in your chart. So please, do have a look at that if that is something you want to work on with me. I would love to sort of give you and share some insight about that. So obviously those are bespoke to you, and it really depends what it is that you're being called to explore at any one time. Well, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.